So with lightsabers being possibly the coolest weapon in movie history, a little history on the weapon is always fun to see. Now I will say, in Legends, the first lightsaber was actually called a proto-saber, with a type of backpack fueling the light sword to power. Sort of looked like Ghostbusters. The design would eventually short-circuit at random or cut out entirely, leaving the user completely vulnerable to an attack, and more often than not, ending in their death due to faulty wiring, or, lack for a better term, old tech. However, this is a thing of the past. When Disney bought Star Wars, we got an entirely new canon, and here is where today's video comes into play. In the art of The Force Awakens, we find all the art that was used and potentially to be used in the film will be in this book. Now, the art could be used in Episode 7, could be used in Episode 8 even, and hopefully will be used in Episode 9. In fact, we've seen some of the things actually come to life in Episode 9 that were put in the Episode 7 concept art. So with the art and props and characters, we get this picture right here that shows the 3 stages of lightsaber crystals and how they form a lightsaber. The first one being just a crystal itself. This is what powers a lightsaber. The next one is, of course, a variation of Luke's lightsaber from Return of the Jedi. Kind of looks similar. Personally, I really wanted to see his lightsaber in the sequel trilogy to be used in good action. While it's not his lightsaber, it definitely looks like it. Now, the piece next to it is what you came for. The very first and most primitive lightsaber in existence. This is published in Disney Canon in the book, where it says, you can see the little trigger crystal on the far right one. That's the most primitive lightsaber there is. All this aluminum milled stuff, that's all just for safety and styling. So this saber right here is the most basic and primitive one. Now, the lightsaber itself looks totally unique and different. It looks like you just be grabbing the crystal with some hay and string around it to keep it in place. It definitely looks like the caveman's equivalent to a lightsaber. Now, something for styling, because they mentioned that here as the aluminum being a point of styling. Jedi Masters used this material called Electrum, and Mace Windu has this all over his lightsaber. It's this gold type material that signifies that one is a Jedi Master and highly respected. So, you can imagine that Mace would definitely deck his entire saber out with this material. As for why this is in the concept art, well, I can only assume because JJ wanted to show us some stuff on the first Jedi, which takes us to Episode 8, where we see the Prime Jedi's image put into the floor of the temple on Ahch-To. This was the first Jedi, which to me looks a lot like Snoke, but who really knows who he is now at this point? He's probably just Palpatine's puppet or something. The idea of putting this in the film would have been interesting to see. Maybe it'd be a prop laying around in Luke's possession or something. As we know from the visual dictionary for The Last Jedi, Luke had a Sith pendant around his neck from a Sith crystal, so he clearly was a keeper of different crystals and artifacts. Between Episode 6 and 7, he scoured the galaxy for artifacts with young Ben Solo. Now, that's definitely a movie that I'd love to see, with Finn Wolfhard as young Ben. Now, as for Luke's lightsaber in The Last Jedi book, his weapon was said to be put away by the caretakers of Ahch-To, the Lanai, who let Luke live there. So there's some closure on his weapon as well, if you can call it that. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what you think the purpose of this primitive lightsaber was for the movie, and if you think we'll see it anywhere in Star Wars. And if it wasn't supposed to be in the film, then why would they draw it and mention it as the most primitive lightsaber? It literally just looks like a crystal that ignites. Have a great day, and may the Force be with you always.
Now, fulfill